you've heard about iron deficiency causing hair loss, right? For all of you who might be familiar with that, iron deficiency is not the same thing as iron deficiency anemia. That's something that is more seriously considered, that doctors will diagnose and they'll give you treatments for if you have something like anemia. But if you are iron deficient and it's not anemic, you can still have a lot of hair loss. And this is something you have to be careful for, because it's a two-edged sword. You can either be iron deficient and have hair loss, or you can have too much iron and have toxicity in your body that can cause extreme medical problems. So you just want to make sure that the level of iron is regulated, and you would rely on lab tests to do that. But if you, so there's two things you want to consider when it comes to your iron levels. One thing is you want to consider the actual iron that you have available for your body to use. The other thing you want to consider is the amount of iron, the measure of iron that is stored in your body. And you can think of it just as like if you had, I heard this analogy, so I'm going to borrow this from someone else. If you had food on your kitchen counter, that's food that is readily available to use, and you know you have that much food to use. But if you open your fridge, that's your store of food. You know that, yes, you have all this food on the counter ready to use right away, but you also have in store a lot of excess. And you need to have a high excess in storage, not too high, once again, keep it regulated, but you need to have a lot of excess in storage in order for your thyroid to function properly. If you have hypothyroidism, it causes your body to not be able to absorb the amount of iron that you need. If you have low iron, it can also cause hypothyroidism. So if that makes sense to you, this is a question that I get pretty often, so it's something that I wanted to make sure that if it's on your mind, that I can explain it as best as I know how. Does that help? Do you guys have any questions with that? I know it's more scattered than I would like it to be. I also get very nervous when speaking to people. I've always had stage fright, so it's like, ah. But anyways, if you guys have any questions that I can help you with, I love to open it up for you to kind of say what you're feeling.
You want questions about the thyroid? Because I had something I wanted to share with you. That's why I came on. So my name is Manda. I'm in New York.
Hi, Amanda.
I actually sent an email to you. So I don't know if you are aware of this or you know. So I had the COVID virus back in March, and I had it for 3 weeks. I was not in the hospital, but yet I had it. And the end of May, sort of towards the end of May, I started losing a lot of hair, started shedding. And, you know, we shed at different times, right? Seasons, hormone, things like this. But it just was different. My hair, it was as all of a sudden, it was as if, it's like if you have the lawn and you stop watering the grass and it starts to, it was just the quality of my hair. And I couldn't touch my hands to my hair without hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I do remember
do you know
message,
about this?
Actually. I remember your message. Yeah. My husband showed it to me this morning. So
and then I realized I ran in here to get on the call because hair loss now is a side effect
exactly of COVID.
Of virus.
Right.
This period that I came upon your Instagram ad, and I ordered your product.
Right.
And I just wanted to share that, you know, I've sort of, you know, it's been 2.5 months. For sure my hair is half the thickness that it had been.
Right.
You know, but I feel that we sort of turned a corner, and I'm, you know, with vitamins and things, but I just wanted to let you know that your product was a key component. It really was in helping to, you know, nutrients back into my hair follicles, I feel like, and the quality of my, you know, helping. It was like, it's a side effect. And there's a whole thing you have to see. That actress, Alyssa Milano, is on CNN this week talking about hair loss.
Yeah, that's right.
And your product was really, I have to say, I just went to share. It's crazy. I bought 4 bottles, and you had a special for July 4th. Everybody in my world is using it. I just wanted to share.
Well, thank you so much. And one thing that I really want to share is that with CRISAN, the brand itself is very personal to us. Many of you know that the reason CRISAN is called CRISAN is because of the names of my family, starting with my youngest, Celeste, for the C, my little boy, Rigdon, for the R, my little girl, Indrani, for I, my Sarah, 7-year-old, for the S, my name is Ariana, for the A, and my husband, Niranjan, for the N. That's how CRISAN came about. And it is very personal to us, but the recipes themselves, I cannot take credit for that because it's something that Ayurvedic medicine teaches and it's taught for so long, and it's just a simple way of taking it. So a lot of people who are, they're seeing results that even I think, wow, that's amazing, that's incredible, because yes, I've used it, and yes, I see the results for myself. My body type does so well with it. My hair grows so fast. It doesn't break as often. It's very silky. Um, I see those effects for me, but I've never experienced COVID. I've never experienced a lot of the thyroid issues that many of my users have. And seeing their experiences, when we first started this business, we started very small. It was just because my husband has a factory in Sri Lanka that produces coconut oil for Costco and for Sam's Club. So he's already well established. He's set. He didn't need to bring another business, but we started Instagram, and we started putting hair pictures, and people started asking, "What are you doing for your hair? It's crazy." And so I started to share my mother-in-law's recipes, and my mother-in-law is from Sri Lanka. And then, I had a lot of people reaching out to me saying, "I don't have time to make all these oils. It's very expensive. If I go and get all these oils that you're talking about, it's like $500 to just get them from Sprouts or Whole Foods, and it's not even all of the oils that you have." And so that's why we created it, because we have the ability to with our factory. But the recipes themselves, it doesn't matter if you're African American, if you're the blondest, blue eyed person in the world. It works for all different hair types. It works for a variety of different conditions. It works in many different ways, not just, and we talked about this in our last few meetings, not just for your hair's strength and health, even though its main purpose, I feel, is for strengthening hair for people who are tired of seeing their hair break, but also for your scalp. It has the terpenes and everything that absorb deep into your hair follicle, and it stimulates that blood flow. It's kind of like a natural way of replacing something like minoxidil or, those different hair remedies that you'll find. It's just a natural way of doing that. I really appreciate that you shared that with me. It's so sweet of you.
Oh, of course. And I was thinking, it would be really, I mean, I don't want to overstep my bound, but I mean, I'm a huge believer in, I mean, the work I do, in tribal cultures and natural medications, and all kinds of, and it's your intention, you have to put the intention of why, the belief into everything you do. But you could really, if you were connected to some hospitals and COVID patients, because it's hard enough, when you have this illness, and then it perpetuates, it lives with you. The illness, it's like you can't get away from it as your hair is falling out.
I know. And it's such a emotionally impactful thing to see handfuls of hair. I've
Yeah.
been there. I've had 4 children, and I've lost so much hair. To see it fall out like that, 200, 300 strands in a day, it's crazy. So I understand, and I also am a little bit hesitant to go and promote it as something, because I am selling it. It's something that we're making and we're selling, and people can get the wrong idea, and it happens too easily. So that's why I rely on you guys so much. I've had so many users who, the biggest help that you can do for a small business like this is to share. And I've
Mhm.
had users make YouTube videos, and even though they themselves have never used YouTube before, they're just willing to do something like that. That means a lot. There's a woman who reached out to me who, she made a YouTube video, but she's very shy, so she doesn't want to show her face on the camera. And she had, I think, 2 subscribers who were her family, and the video went to thousands. And
Great.
people are sharing it, and she's just like, "This is crazy." So it's something that people are talking about, and people don't know. They The thing that I feel is really lacking is that when we think of Ayurvedic medicine, we think of India, or we think of, natural medicine. We might think of Chinese traditional medicine. We put it off as if it's something so foreign to us, when in reality we're all human and we all function in pretty much the same way. You know, if you go under the knife, doctors aren't going to be surprised to see something in you that's not in someone else. We're pretty much made the same way.
Yeah.
And natural remedies, they work for all of us. It's something that is important to understand, that we are all a human family, and even though we have differences in culture and barriers that and waters that separate us, we are functioning in much the same way and can be healed by much of the same things.
Yes, 100. It's the connection. We all have the same connection to the planet.
Yeah, for sure. For
So
sure.
anyway, but thank you for doing what you're doing, you and
Thank you
your
so much.
husband. It's
Thank
great. I love the way you do it. Yeah.
I'm not sure how long you guys have been with me, if you've been with me since we started back in March or if you've just recently joined, but I make a lot of YouTube videos just to a lot of DIY hair masks that you can do at home, and a lot of answers to questions like, why is my hair thinning, why is my hair falling out. But they have a lot of great information and things that are common sense. A lot of things to do with hair fall are very common sense, and even an endocrinologist who is looking at your thyroid, one of the last things that they will say is the cause of hair loss is genetics. And so the reason they do that is because, like I said, our bodies are all kind of created in the same way. So your mother might have had low iron, which led to her hair loss, and you might also have low iron, which is leading to your hair loss. So things like iron would be, if you raise your levels, it's something that can remedy that situation. So it's something that, as long as your levels are fine, if you can get to the right levels, normally hair loss stops. Hair loss is not just your thyroid. It's not just due to high stress, which we talked about last time, the high cortisol levels. It has a lot to do with even your environment. So like I told you before, even the water you use to wash your hair can cause your hair to fall out. There are a number of different things. Your hair, everything, it's so sensitive. There are you know, if I said to use filtered water, if any of you have done that, you would have seen such a big difference. If you're using filtered water to wash your hair, you will see a huge difference right away in the way that your hair health is. Just because when you are putting hard minerals on your hair, it's hard on your follicle, it's hard on the pores, and it's not, your hair follicles are not made of steel. They can be affected dramatically just by being irritated. So yeah, do you guys have any other questions?
Yes.
Yes, hi, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just well.
I wrote to you. I also have Hashimoto thyroid, and I've had experience with hair loss for quite a while, and I also had COVID. So like the lady beforehand, I mean, I saw chunks of hair falling, and then I was like, really, my hair volume really got disappeared. But the way I've been using your oil, since I just bleach it, right now I have it on. I decided to put it on right now. I leave it on like for an hour and a half, or overnight. I soak my hair in it because it really makes my highlights very shiny. I just want to know how else can I use it because my hair is very thin, so it gets very greasy right away. And what other suggestions would you have?
Yes, of course. Like I said before, CRISAN is extremely versatile. It's something that can be used at, just the principle that I like to keep in mind is, as long as you're using it in some way, your hair will benefit. If you're using it on your scalp, your follicles will be stimulated for hair growth. If you're using it just as a leave-in, which many of my users do, it's something that you have to be careful with the amount you're putting, because different hair types and the porosity of your hair will depend on how much of that oil is absorbed into your hair. So let's say that I have a lot of users who are African American who never have to wash it out of their hair, because their hair just loves it. It soaks it in, it protects their strands, it helps their scalp. It's just something that they'll put it on and leave it in, because they don't usually they don't have to wash their hair every day. But if I also have a lot of users who use it as a leave-in, just what I would recommend is put a little bit in your hand. Start with a little bit, especially if you don't know your hair's porosity. Rub it around and then just start applying it to see until it reaches that point where it's starting to look greasy. It's
On dry hair?
on dry hair.
Yeah.
I put it on dry hair. I've put it on wet hair. Honestly, I like it better on dry, and you might like it differently. It might work better for you. When I put it on my dry hair, I just notice a big change. I put it on dry hair especially because my hair is naturally, I leave it natural. Like, you might see it and think, geez, Ariana, your hair looks so messy right now. It's naturally very crazy, my hair is. And so I use it as a leave-in. In the mornings, I'll just put it on dry hair, and throughout the day, it just absorbs into it. It doesn't look greasy. If your hair is thin and fine, you're going to want to use as little as possible, just a touch, because that's the type of hair that can be weighed down if you use too much.
Yeah.
You can also use it like this. If you take your shampoo bottle, and let's say you've used about 25% of your shampoo, fill the rest with oil and shake it around. And as a mixture with your shampoo, it's very great. And you might,
Okay.
yeah.
And what about with the conditioner?
So a lot of users, you can use conditioner if you want. You don't have to. I do sometimes just because it's a habit that I've had since I was a child, but I don't really need to because my hair becomes very soft and silky from just using CRISAN. If I do use conditioner, it's just on the very bottom, on the ends of my hair. It's not something that I put on the scalp ever, because when you do that, your volume automatically is kind of weighed down. So if you're adding it with your shampoo, 25% may be too much, it may be too less. Once again, it really depends on you, but once you figure out the formulation, I mean, you're good to go. You don't really have to worry because
No, one thing I've noticed, definitely, because, you know, I've been highlighting my hair forever. It makes it really, really shiny. It's, I mean, amazing. It really makes it shine like, you know, the gold. It looks really golden because I live in Florida, and the humidity here is horrible.
Right.
So the hair tends to get very frizzy. And when you go to cold weather, it looks nice and shiny. So it gets that shiny look when I put the oil in. I've been doing it just basically putting the oil, waiting, and then washing my hair normally. But I'm going to try the shampoo thing.
Oh, thank you. Now, your hair is naturally, it just loves oils. If you use a lot of different hair products, most hair products are water-based, but your hair, you'll notice if you put a water-based product on your hair, it might sit on the top like a bead, like, you know, a droplet on a leaf. It doesn't absorb right away. And when you're using oil, it usually soaks in right away, but it depends on the type of oil that you're using. In CRISAN, there are so many different types of oils, and this is purposely done. That's because every different oil has a different chemical structure. Some are monounsaturated fatty acids with a double bond. Some are polyunsaturated fatty acids which branch out, and the way that these oils adhere to your hair can give a difference whether it's absorbed properly or if it doesn't absorb at all. So some of them are meant to not be absorbed at all, and that's what protects your strands. That's what's giving you that shininess, that glow. It's because there's a lot of polyunsaturated fatty acids that are like branches, and so your hair structure is linear. So if you're using like a monounsaturated fatty acid or saturated fatty acid, those are structured more linear, and they would absorb deeply, like terpenes, like essential oils would absorb deep into your follicle, deep into your strands, and protect your moisture from leaving your hair. But these polyunsaturated ones, they sit like, imagine just laying a tree branch on top of your hair. They sit as a protective barrier right on the top. That's where that shine, that silkiness is coming from those.
So, so for people like, you know, that that have had this extreme hair loss because of COVID and thyroid problems, which I do, you would recommend to massage it on the scalp to strengthen the hair follicles?
Yes, of course, because if you're going to go to get hair loss treatments and you don't have anything major, I mean, there are some cases that are extreme, like scarring alopecia. That is something that, whether you use CRISAN or minoxidil, it's not something that you can really fix because that's scar tissue that your hair follicle has to compete with. But when you have something that is treatable, most hair fall is treatable. I would say about 90% of the cases are completely treatable. When you have something that's treatable and you start treatments right away, what those treatments are doing is trying to stimulate your follicles into production. They do that by sending more blood flow to those follicles, and minoxidil will do that, steroids will do that. There's, you know, that's what CRISAN is mimicking, but CRISAN is completely natural. It's a natural way of doing it so that you don't have to worry about high levels of toxicity and such.
How often, should be used once a week, or, I mean, how often should be used?
I always say it depends on your current lifestyle. You might wash your hair once a week. Others wash their hair every single day. I wash
Or
my
every
hair.
other day, yeah.
Yeah, I wash twice a week. I like to follow my hair washing pattern because it's very easy and I don't have to think about it and it doesn't seem stressful or taxing. Sorry, my hair keeps getting stuck on my face. But I like to follow that same wash pattern just because you put it in the night before, and when you wake up, you just wash it out. Your hair is fabulous for like 3 days straight, and then you can put product in it still and just complete the process. It's something that it's very easygoing. I wanted CRISAN to be something that you don't really have to think so much about, something that is easy to incorporate where anyone can use it. Doesn't matter your ethnicity or hair type. There's a way that you can use it that's beneficial to you. If your hair is very fine and thin, I do highly recommend that after you put it on your scalp, just make sure that you wash it off completely, because people with thin, fine hair, they're the ones who will have the most difficulty using oils because oils weigh their hair down. While oils are very beneficial for them and it's going to help their hair a lot, it's not aesthetically pleasing to have your hair stuck to your head. So it's something that...
No, it's not.
Yeah. And so if you're using the right type of shampoo, if you're using something that's strong enough to wash those oils out, but not so harmful that it's going to strip away, your natural balance, I recommend, people ask me all the time, what shampoo do you use? We are trying to formulate one for CRISAN that is completely organic certified, so it's taking us some time, and vegan. We don't want to release anything because there's a lot of products already there that are effective, that are without those credentials. So if we want to release something, we want it to have the credentials that we think are important. And so we are working on releasing one, but until then, just go to Whole Foods, pick 2 or 3 different ones and just try it and see which one you like. There's so much to choose from, and some that are created by very reputable and wonderful organizations, with even small businesses that you can support, especially during this time of COVID. I know that they would appreciate that. Just do a little bit of groundwork, find the one that works best for you. I highly recommend staying away from like parabens and sulfates and things, that junk that your hair does not need. But also choose something that's effective. I know there's a movement called the no poo movement where they don't use shampoo at all. That is controversial because it also can lead to hair fall. If you're not washing the sebum away from your scalp, your scalp gets irritated and it will cause your hair to fall out. So just
can you say a little bit about your face oil and the veggie capsules for the hair?
Yeah, so a lot of people, when they take different capsules for hair growth, they feel like sometimes the capsule is the reason that their hair started coming back in the first place. The ingredients within the capsules are extremely important. Most important, I feel, because as women, especially if you have a menstrual cycle, you lose a lot of blood, which means your iron levels are depleted, and in a range where you want your iron to be anywhere from, and it's a wide range, anywhere from like 10 to about, I think, 150. Most of us women fall on that border of about a 10, which is very low. Even though it's not anemic, you can still have low iron. And so the capsules themselves have extremely powerful and effective Ayurvedic ingredients that we felt were not common enough. And that's why we didn't put biotin, we didn't put selenium or anything that is easily available, just because it's already there. It's already easily available. We put things like curry leaf and fenugreek and moringa and ashwagandha, things that, they are very reputable in the Ayurvedic and natural community, something that people have found great results from. Those vitamins are, one bottle comes with 60 capsules. It's recommended you take 2 every day, and then it just lasts for a month, and it has all of those ingredients within that are very good for your hair growth. And an ingredient that I really love is called ashwagandha, because ashwagandha, it's known for
very good
helping with your cortisol levels, and it's known for just, its effects. It's high in iron. It's a very natural way to get the daily recommended iron and nutrition that you need. It's if you take that, just try to feel how your body's feeling. Normally, if I don't take it, I can feel the stress, I can feel the anxiety of just the work that we have throughout the day, because we have so much to do, we have so much to do. But when I take that, it feels like kind of like I can do it. I get that kickstart, like everything feels like it's in my control, even though the workload is not lighter. Even though I'm still going through the same motions, your body naturally feels more calm. The dosages are also very gentle. It's not something that you're going to get like 5,000 micrograms. It's something that we just put the right amount of what it needs, just because if you have too much of something, it's not usually it's not a good thing at all. So that's my
Thank
2
you.
cents for that. Yeah, you're welcome.
And what about the face oil?
Oh yes, the True Age facial. It's heaven sent. I love that. It smells so good, and it's got the same principles that fall behind the hair oil. The terpenes of the facial oil deeply penetrate into your skin, and every user is different, but just I've been using it for so long. I'm still relatively young. A lot of people would never give credit to a young person, but I'm going to tell you experiences from people who are older than me. Like I wish you guys could meet my mother-in-law. She, because of COVID, cannot come to the U.S. right now. They're U.S. citizens and they live here in Texas with us, but the Sri Lankan airport is closed down. But when it opens and when she comes, I'm gonna bring her here, even though she's incredibly shy. But I'm gonna make you guys meet her because she's just the sweetest, most beautiful person. She's, I think, 62. And she looks like a goddess. She has jet black hair that she's never dyed. She has like the most gorgeous skin because she's been doing these remedies since a small age, since she was very small. She's never had anything like plastic surgery or any fillers or anything like that because she's never needed anything. Since she was very young, her mother taught her these recipes and she's been using them consistently, so she looks gorgeous. She doesn't have any gray hair. It's like something that even I'm jealous of, because I know that when my age comes, maybe it'll come. Maybe I didn't start the treatment soon enough. And so she's just a wonderful person. But her skin is gorgeous. It's glowing. It's tight. Everyone always thinks that she is my husband's wife. Like when we go shopping. Anyways, she looks amazing. I've also had great feedback from you guys, from my users who use True Age. The way that it's used is you apply it on clean skin, and you can apply it underneath your makeup, underneath your sunscreen. It's something that is extremely versatile also. You want to make sure you don't use too much. Now, things to consider if you're using True Age is that if you naturally are prone to breakouts, if you have extremely sensitive skin, you want to make sure that you just start with a drop. And I know the bottle is huge. That's because people use it as a full body oil. We made it that way. Just users requested that when we first started, is that we had a bigger portion. And so if you're using it on your face, just use a small dot to start with and test a patch, because if you over apply oils, your skin can kind of freak out, especially if you have sensitive skin. And I've had some users whose skin did break out, but then they continued using it, and after a week or so, their face became accustomed to it and has been very nice ever since. And I have users like me who I could pour oil on my face and never get a blemish, and that's just the way my skin reacts to it. So it depends on the way your skin reacts. It depends on the person you are. So, yeah. But
Thank you so much for your information.
You're welcome. I also use it at night before I sleep. It's something that I don't use night creams or anything like that. I just put the True Age on my face. I use it to take my makeup off. The best way that I've found is that right before a shower, I would apply it liberally to my entire face, my neck, my arms, everything, and then go into the hot water and just let the water hit and massage. And while you do that, don't put soap on it. Just let the water hit and massage. And by doing that, when you come out, the oil amount has thinned out so much that you can't even notice it, but your skin becomes extremely supple. It's just a nice glowing.
That's a nice way.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions? Hi, Tony. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
I actually do have a thyroid problem, and my hair is very thin. Like this is all of it, it's very thin. But I started using your product, and I also use your vitamins. and I have your skin oil, so I love your product. But what I was going to tell you is I watch all your videos, and I've been trying to take notes on stickies to get all the ingredients of the different recipes you give. Like sometimes you say use an avocado with CRISAN, or use an egg with CRISAN, and there's all these different recipes you give, and I write them down, and so I have all these stickies. But I was just wondering, is there a place at some point in time where all your recipes will be in one place, so that way I can look through and pick which? I even bought the pomegranate juice you suggested to use with CRISAN. So I'm trying different ones to see what works best for me, but I'd really like to know if you could put them in one place so I could look them up.
That, that's my own fault. We become so busy, and we become inundated with, not just with this CRISAN business, but I have 4 children and they are all homeschooled now. So it's something that just trying to juggle. It's something that I've been planning on doing, and I've also put just like cheat sheets on where you can buy it. But then I had a lot of negative feedback that they thought I was trying to promote some companies by saying, go to this place for this ingredient. I got a lot of negative feedback from that. So I've been careful for that, but as far as getting the recipes down, that's something that I'll make a goal to try and get that done as soon as possible, because it is very beneficial, and it's something that I'm glad you brought that up. It's something that I don't necessarily think about because it's so common for me. It's like, oh yeah, you're going through this, we'll just use pomegranate and this and you'll be fine. But I also have to remember that you aren't in the same mindset. You haven't been used to that, and so it's not something that will come naturally for many of you. So I'll definitely make a note to try and get that done as soon as possible.
Yeah, because I thought you were maybe considering writing a book or something like that.
Definitely.
And maybe that'd be a good thing. But in the meantime, I will watch, the videos, and I write down ingredients down. But I just really like one place where I could reference, and that would be nice. Of course,
yeah. I definitely, my book, I started that back in March, and the problem with me is if I'm going to release something, I want to make sure it has everything. And so I'm doing a lot of research still because I want to make sure that every single question is answered. It's not going to be something that is made just to be put out there. It has to be useful, I feel. It has to be like a Bible for hair, where if you want recipes, you can flip. And I have so many recipes already. I have about 100 recipes in there right now, and I'm still going to be adding more to that. But I want it to be something that you can have on your phone, or even maybe I'll consider doing a hard copy that is like a Bible for you that you can flip through. No matter what your ethnicity, your hair type, you would know what treatments could be most effective in a natural way. That's something that I'm definitely going to be doing. But thank you so much for that. Okay. Are there any other questions? I see somebody's asking if we offer wholesale for businesses. That we do. As far as wholesale goes, we also don't. We want it to be very personal, in the sense that we don't want to go and put it in big places, just because I feel like you guys are able to connect with me, and I think that's very important. If we're going to do something that's wholesale, I'm afraid that the personal touch is going to go. So we have offered wholesale to places in the UK, in Canada, just because the people there, it's more cost effective for them than shipping it from the US over there. And so it's something that we kind of have to do if they're going to be able to use it at all. If you do want wholesale, we would definitely consider doing something like that. If you want to just email me, I can give you more information. Let's see. Can it be used every? I'm looking at the questions probably from a long ago. I might have answered some. Let's see. Let's see. You guys are just so sweet. Look at all this. Okay. After how many uses can one expect to see improvements? That is a great question. And it depends on who is using it and how you're using it. If you're using it for hair growth, I've had users who their hair loss has stopped and they've started to see new growth after a month. And I also have users who've been using it since March and are now just starting to see hair growth. It depends. When we first started this business, we hired a woman who lives next to us who is 72 years old, and she just went through just a horrific cancer battle. So she's still taking chemo meds, and her hair had gone completely, and it's something that really affected her. And I wanted to give her my own personal solution that I really believe in, but I also didn't want to be too pushy. But she took it, and she started to use it every single day. And for her, she didn't notice hair growth right away, but she's been using it now for a long time, and her hair is much thicker. It's come in a beautiful color, where before she was having to dye it just completely white, and it had thinned out so much. I mean, her head was almost, it's just very sparse, very bald. Now it's coming in so nicely. So it can take time, it can take patience, but if your issue is simply that, you know, you have poor health, you have poor topical health, and you just need to spice it up, CRISAN is going to be extremely effective right away. But for the most part, that's not the case with everyone. There's a lot of depth to why your hair would fall, to why you're losing hair, to how to get your hair to grow back. Like I taught before, and this video, once again, you can see on my YouTube channel, but if you're experiencing hair loss, it's something that can be related to your stress levels, your thyroid. It can be related to the temperature of the water you bathe with. It can be related to the purity of the water you bathe with. It can be related to your environment, to so many different things. Your nutritional levels. There are a lot of things to consider. If you're only using a topical treatment, it's something that it may work for you right away, it may not. That's why I feel like, you know, in these emails that I'm sending you, you're going to notice there's daily planners, there's recipes, there's things that you can implement into your daily life that are both good for your, not just your hair health, but your entire body health. I feel like that's something that we overlook, as especially as Americans, because we are very spoiled. I feel that I lived in Sri Lanka for 2 years, and I was born in California, and I was raised here in America, but I feel like we have everything within reach, and we want a solution, and we want it now, and we want it to be something that we pay for once, and we get what we pay for, and the next day it's just fixed for us. And, you know, for some, that's how it works. But I also feel like we have to be healthy, both body and mind. And that's something that I like to help you guys with, to understand that, you know, principles of meditation can calm your stress levels, which will help your hair loss. It's things that are all interconnected. Our bodies are so complex that it's kind of a joke to think that one simple thing can be the solution to all of our problems. I feel like there's so many different layers that we can address in a way that is not going to be overburdensome, that's not going to take you out of your comfort zone. Simple things you can do right now in your very own home. Even open your fridge, take an avocado, grind it up into a pulp, add a little CRISAN, put it in your hair, and you're going to notice a difference. Things that you can do right away, right now. But sometimes we want to reach out and think, you know, is there a magic solution? I know that for a lot of us, that's something that we just have to be careful for. In the CRISAN community, I find the most successful and the most happy people among us are those who are a little bit open and have patience. And they're the ones who see the most improvement, because they're willing to go and do the things necessary to kind of help balance out their hair. And, you know, that's just my 2 cents. It can be completely different for each of us. So
Go back.
next.
Hey, Ariana, I had a question about my hair type.
Okay, Megan.
Hi. So whenever I apply oil on my scalp and hair, it feels like it just sits there. I tried warming it up to see if it absorbs better, but it just feels to sit there. It doesn't seem to absorb. And my hairs are very, very thin, fine, and brittle.
I see.
Is there something carrier I can use or something to mix in to make it absorb?
Yeah. Now, just because when you're putting it on your hair, just because you're seeing an excess amount doesn't mean it's not absorbing. If you want it to sit on your hair longer, what I would recommend is mixing it with something that is a little bit less oily. Something that I found, let's see if I can mute everyone but you, I'm not sure. Something that I found that is really helpful, if you take a powder like ashwagandha, or if you take gooseberry powder, amla powder, if you're from India, you might have heard of this. If you mix that with your oils and give a massage and let that kind of sit, that's a way to keep the oils on your head a little bit longer without them dripping away, where your body can absorb it. So if you're feeling like the oils themselves, it's getting stressful and it's not working, and you're trying and I mean, so many people are seeing great results. Why not me? I highly recommend starting from square one. Just try and see, if you have any scalp conditions, if you have anything that can be remedied naturally. Are you having a very good diet? Are you feeling peace inside and not too much stress and stuff? The absorption of the oils will happen anyways with the terpenes in them. It's something that your body won't block terpenes from deeply penetrating into your follicle. It's going to penetrate no matter what. But the way that I can help you the most if you're having struggles like this, all I can really help you with is to just keep trying. A lot of my users do heat the oil. I don't recommend doing that though, just because I feel like these oils are so pure. The work that we go through to find the right sources for these oils is extreme. It's not something that is comparable to something that you would buy on the grocery shelf. The oils are very pure, and because they're so pure, they're very high in antioxidants and nutrients that if you heat it, your hair is still going to be shiny, you're still going to have follicle stimulation, but you're going to be killing a lot of the nutritional properties from the oil. So I recommend not heating it. Let's see. I know that's probably not very helpful. I'm just telling you to keep going and to keep trying and keep applying, but I know that's not the answer you're looking for. If it would help to maybe even, I don't know if you want to try mixing an oil that your hair might be used to. I've had one user who she loves to use coconut oil in her hair, and so she took CRISAN and mixed it with coconut oil, which I thought wouldn't be a good idea because I feel like the dosage it's proportionately measured to be effective, and so if you're putting too much of one ingredient, I thought it would be less effective. But her hair just loved the coconut oil feel, and it just helped the oils absorb a lot better. So there are different ways you can do it by mixing with carrier oils. So I would give that a try, and also just try to put CRISAN oil without any product in your hair. If your hair is clean, it might absorb a little bit easier for you. For me, I always say it doesn't matter if you have product on your hair or not. It's going to absorb really well either way. But if your hair is clean, the chances of it being able to absorb those oils is much higher than if it has hairspray or any other hair product on it. Does that help you at all, Meg?
Yeah, no, it does help me. Thank you. And once you mentioned that we can put lemon juice in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you put it on the scalp with the lemon juice or just on the hairs?
Yeah, so what lemon juice does is lemon juice is extremely high in vitamin C, and you need that for healthy hair growth. And so when you're putting lemon juice, you just want to use that maybe once a month. Don't overuse lemon juice also because it is acidic and it flattens your cuticles. It's very good for your hair strands. If you're worried about hair loss and hair growth, lemon juice is not going to speed up that process very much of gaining new hair. I would use, instead of lemon juice, use coconut milk. And I'm so sorry, I've been promising you guys a recipe for coconut milk for so long. Just take a coconut, break it, scrape the flesh, put it in a blender, squeeze it out with, you can use the coconut water itself that came from the nut, or you can even add a nice filtered water to it, and use that coconut milk and put it in your hair. You're going to find incredible results, especially with hair growth. Lemon and lime, they do a lot for your hair strands, but not so much for your scalp as much as I would think coconut milk would. So I hope that helps you. You're very welcome. Are there any questions? I know we have just about a minute left, but I want to make sure. I'll even stay extra if you guys have questions that need some help.
Question. Oh,
is this Brenda?
Someone.
No, but I was. Go ahead. Whoever. I don't know who was talking.
Go ahead, Brenda. I can wait. No worries.
I was just gonna share my story about. We were talking back there where who people have low iron can also have hair falling out and all that.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's what I was experiencing, and I didn't know where it was coming from until I found out that my iron levels were low. Mm-hmm. I started researching for products that can help me to grow my hair, where it can be a lot more healthier too. Your products has made such an improvement that I just gotta share that. Stop the falling. My hair is growing around how you say the size where it was falling out really bad. I'm getting a little bit of hair growths already. I actually mixed your oil with my shampoo on my hand before I put the shampoo, and it has done so much for my hair. So I just want to thank you guys for making this product. It's actually a really good product, and I am glad I found it.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you so much. I'm glad it can help you.
I have a last question. You mentioned the iron supplements. I mean, like mentioned iron deficiency.
Yeah.
Is there supplements for iron deficiency? Do
Yeah.
your veggie capsules have them?
Yes, it does.
Because I don't take additional iron supplements at all.
Right. Be very careful with the iron supplements you're taking because you can also, have an overdose of iron, which would be toxic. So just be very careful. But yes, when you go to CRISANbeauty.com, we have one capsule, and it's the Complete Hair Essentials. It's full of natural ingredients that are high in iron. And we chose.
Oh, but so your veggie capsule, the one for the hair, it has iron in it.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It has
Okay,
naturally occurring iron, naturally from the curry leaf, from the moringa, from the fenugreek, and ashwagandha.
Okay.
All
Okay, that's what I needed to know. And spinach also has a lot of natural occurring iron too.
Kale, spinach. There's a lot of foods that will have it too. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Of course. And I think I had one more. Is it Michelle? Let's see.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you? I
good.
first want to say thank you for taking the time to create this community for people across the world, just to give their tips. I live in California. I used to live in Texas. I just bought your product and it hasn't even come in the mail yet. I bought it 2 days ago. My question is for a brand new user, whenever it does come in, I'm trying to train my hair to wash it less and put less heat on it, because my hair tends to break on the sides. It will grow in the back, obviously, because that's the less part work, because I dye my hair to cover grays, so I bleach it. But it never grows past a certain point just on the side. For a brand new user, would you recommend to start off doing it overnight, or doing the recommended dose where you're just putting it in for like an hour and then washing it out?
Michelle, I'm so excited for you, especially since you haven't tried it yet. Like, this is very exciting because the first time that you use CRISAN, it's kind of, when you wash your hair out and you shampoo your hair out, you're kind of blown away just because your hair, it's extremely different than it was before. And it's a feeling that you never want to go back on. It's something that, it feels great. Now, the reason, if you see, like, the way that this all started, I created CRISAN for my Instagram community because I had very long hair and I was showing pictures and they wanted to know my recipes and stuff. And so my hair used to never grow past here. Okay, it was about there. And now look how much longer it just grows now. And I cut it all the time. Your hair doesn't need to be cut always. I heard from a hairstylist. Now, I've been cutting my hair since I was 12, so I didn't grow up going to salons or anything. My family definitely couldn't afford taking us because there are 6 kids in my family, and we all just, it was very difficult. So I learned how to cut my hair at a young age, and I met with a hairstylist just a couple months ago, and I just wanted to ask her some questions, and I said, why is it doesn't make sense that people are suggested to cut their hair so much? And hairstylists, they say come in every 6 weeks and get a trim. That's going to make your hair grow longer. Just thinking about it, it doesn't make sense, because I like to take any situation and just use common sense and think that doesn't, if you want your hair to grow long and get past a certain point, first thing that I would suggest is to just stop cutting it. And it seems very basic. Stop cutting it, but you also need to protect it because you're getting into new territory. Your hair is getting to a point where it's usually going to break. The reason that your hair normally breaks, it could be stress, it could be because of the way you're wearing your purse, that it just breaks your hair strands. Mine is usually if my kids step on my hair, it snaps. So there's a lot of different ways that your hair can break, but you want to protect it. And the way that I did this when I was going from that starting point to where I am now, when I wanted to get over that initial hump where it just never got past that point, I started keeping it in a bun. a low bun at the base of my neck as often as possible. And if I was going out to dinner, I would take it out and let it be down. If I was just, in my home or going to run errands, it was always tied in a bun, and it was full of oils. And and no one can tell that you have oils in your hair. It's something that it's not going to make you look greasy and go out. I didn't put it on my scalp when I was going out. I would just put it on the ends of my hair, tie it in a bun, and I would do that. And after like 3 months of doing that, I mean, the hair length is phenomenal. Your hair grows so well because it's not breaking anymore. It's very healthy. And I was putting the oils on my head at night and washing it out in the morning, so you get that stimulation of your follicles, so it starts to speed up the process. Right now, my hair is growing at least an inch every single month. When I started Instagram, it was like I have always had a family Instagram where I just put pictures of my kids and stuff, and then I just started sharing like hair photos back in November of 2019, so it hasn't been very long at all. And from the time I started then, it's already grown about 6 inches, but I've been cutting it too. And so it's growing a lot, and I'm still cutting it, and I think that is a great power to have. You don't have to want your hair to reach the floor, but you want to be able to have the power of knowing that when I grow it out, it's going to be the same length. It's not going to be sparse. I'm not going to be thinning in certain areas. It's going to all be healthy and long, and I can grow it to my belly button. I can keep it short however I want, but I know it's going to be healthy. That's a big power to have. So
for sure, when you
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I had one question. Whenever you put in a bun, I heard that those ties might break off the strand. So whenever you do put it in the bun, are you twisting your hair and then wrapping it around, or are you literally less twisting to try to stop the breakage?
That's a great question, because I would experience it differently than you. I never use hair ties. Never. I always tied my hair in a knot by itself. At that length that it was a stretch. It almost made it into the knot. And my hair, and so even now I don't use hair ties. If I'm going to put my hair up, I tie it in a bun by itself, like into its own knot. And I feel that's really important, because hair ties, just by twisting them, you can completely snap off your hair strands. And so many split ends. It's something that's inevitable. If you're going to use a hair strand, that's pretty much what's going to happen. Or another thing that you can do, it might be easier for you to take a ribbon and gently tie it in a ponytail. It doesn't have to be a bun. I feel the bun is more protective for your hair. I feel it's even better than keeping it in braids. A lot of women swear by braids. With sleeping in a braid at night will keep it from breaking. Yeah. I always go straight to a bun, because it's less exposed to the outside world. There's less chance of it breaking, and you can hide that greasy look. If you're keeping it in a braid full of oil, it's like kind of weird. But if you're gonna just keep it in a nice bun, it's just perfect. That's all you really need. I'm not sure how you would do it with short hair. You might be able to, I've always thought of creating this, but creating like a little, almost like a pouch that would fit, because I have a lot of users with short hair, that would fit the hair that you have, that you can tie, that's really cute, like in ribbon. I've thought of trying to create that, but I'm even falling behind on like creating the recipes for you guys and book and all this stuff. There's a lot on my plate. I'm very ambitious. There's a lot that I want to get done. So it's only a matter of time, but there are things that I'm definitely thinking of for you that might work. And if you find something else, just please share it, because that's something that a lot can benefit from.
I will definitely let you know what the progress is. And the back grows, but the sides just don't. And I felt like if I tied it back, like the top of my hair, then it would break off on the side.
It definitely probably
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michelle. Are there any other questions before we get going? Let's see. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to be holding Zoom chats. I used to have them on the 1st of every month, and then when July came and it was July 4th, I put it in the middle of the month. And since then it's kind of been the middle of the month, because I feel like it's weird to have it every 2 weeks. I don't want to bore you guys also. I want it to still be exciting for you. But we're going to have another Zoom chat in September, probably around my birthday. My birthday's on the 13th, so mid-month of September is probably when we'll have it. And I'll see you guys all then with your questions and
I had a last question.
Yes.
Like usually, since my hair is very thin, I have medium length. I go by the capfuls. That's the way I measure it. I start with a capful and I start putting it on my hair, and it's to see like you said, if it's very thin, it gets saturated very quickly. So I find that like maybe 1 or 2 capsules is way enough for my hair. That's the only way I can measure it, and and it it needs a nice ingredient. I can wash it off much easier.
Thank you for sharing.
Because
yeah, and yeah, it depends. Different hair types will require different amounts. You guys, I have to say this. I'm very sorry for the type of cap that our bottle has. When we first started this business, we had a dispensing cap, but thanks to this lovely COVID-19 situation, everyone and their grandma got into the hand sanitizer business, and so every bottle is sold out and every cap was sold out, and when we went to order caps, they're sold out for the next 2 years. And so that's what these manufacturers are saying, like, we have a list that's so long. If you go to December of 2021, we can get caps for you. And so it's not the best situation. I know there are ways around it, and you guys have been so great. It's not something that's like stopping you, but I feel like that's also makes it hard to measure. Just be very careful. If you're using an oil and you just want a touch of it, take the bottle with the cap off and hold it against your palm, tip it over and back, and you'll have just the right amount to get started if you want to do patch tests and things like that. Anything else, you can use a measuring cup, or like I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, XTY. I'm not sure how I would pronounce that. I don't want to slaughter it.
Christy, like Christmas. That's the way I write it. It's Christy.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, just how she was saying, just measure by the capful. I really don't want you guys to have to waste product to use the product. I feel like I wish we had those caps, but anyways, it's just a problem. But thank you guys so much for your support. It really means a lot to us to have our own little community, and I see you guys like in all of even our ads. I see you interacting with one another. I've had users who, when I wake up in the morning, normally what we would do is we just start answering questions from morning till night. We just answer people's questions, and there's a lot of you now, so it gets pretty gruesome. But do you know how much it means when I go and I see that one of you guys has gone and answered like 50 questions, and it's all your personal experience, and I'm just blown away by that. I just feel like, man, would I even do that for a company? I don't even think I would do that for a company, but you guys are just so great. You've helped us a lot. I feel like this product is something that, like I said at the very beginning, it's not something that is completely personal as far as the recipe is concerned, because it is just Ayurvedic recipes that have been used by so many for thousands of years and passed down from generation to generation. But the brand CRISAN itself is extremely personal to me and my family, because it's named with my children's initials and my husband's and my initials in the name. It's something that is very close to us. So the fact that you guys care about us, it means a lot. We never expected that. So thank you for that. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to see you guys again in mid-September. I'm still catching up on emails. Some of you might have emailed me and not seen a response yet. That's because, my goodness, you guys love to chit-chat so much. And I love to be personal with you guys. So we really love you guys. We appreciate you. And I'll see you next month. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. But take care, everybody. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks. Bye.